So Renee,
Yes.
you are a coach for us. You coach a bunch of different people at all sorts of different altitudes and a bunch of different organizations. So you're kind of an expert at seeing these trends come in. So I really want to start, Renee, with what are you seeing now uniquely in November 2020 that you haven't seen in the past? What are you coaching on today?
Yeah. Thanks, Brea. It's so fun to be with you. Well, I'm seeing a lot of the same things that I would see in previous years, but there's an added dimension. So, for example, I see a lot of reorgs that are happening in organizations, yet sometimes you're getting under a manager you've never met before. I'm seeing a lot of people who want to move their career forward despite the year that 2020 is. And it's really, really hard to get the visibility that you need because you don't get the cooler talk, you don't get the hallway conversations. Sometimes you don't even get to really influence somebody that you've met in person. I've also seen something that Ashley Willems, who's a Harvard professor and researcher, calls as time poverty. We have never been in a place where we have had less time because of the blended lines between work and life. And so with that comes added stress, added anxiety, depression, and then less productivity and less joy. So I'm seeing that in the people that I'm coaching. I'm also seeing a really interesting dynamic. We were discussing about this with Ashley around how in many ways our life has become more visible. So that means that we are in isolation, yet we have a more invasive way where work is coming into our home space. You can hear my kids above. You can hear, I mean, there's all these things, right? And they're right by each other. And so those are unique facets that I'm seeing when I talk to coachees.
I saw a story go viral on Zoom video fatigue, and
Yeah.
the title of it was like, "Just don't ask me to turn my camera on."
Yes. And before I used to be all about coaching people, you got to get visible. And there are times you do need to, but there is a fatigue that comes in, and it's especially for folks who are not extroverted. I want to respect, part of inclusion is including all different types of people. But yes, absolutely, that's a part of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think too, sort of the bar has dropped sometimes. Like, I mean, I curled my hair today, which just for this, but I mean, I'm usually in a baseball hat or, and I've got fuzzy socks on. So I don't, you've only got 12 inches to work with here. You don't even know I'm pregnant down here.
Exactly.
It's a very
It is a new world. It is a new world.
Absolutely. Yeah. As I think too about, because I work with so many organization leaders, division leaders, team leaders, some of the challenges that they are facing, of course, they've got some of those personal aspects as well. But there is certainly, as we came into spring, we didn't see organizations that were remote ready. So everyone all of a sudden, set up Slack, set up Microsoft Teams, try to install these flexibility policies, which were probably long overdue. So now we've had 6-8 months of this sort of remote workforce happening. But the trend that I'm seeing, especially with organization leaders, is this really big burden on people managers. Yeah. It is like they are just being thumped from the bottom and the top because they have to operate as a therapist without your doctorate, Renee. Like they have to offer the sympathy down to their team while at the same time setting expectations up for really their capacity forecasters. What are we able to produce this year, so that all their managers and the managers above them can understand the performance and do some forecasting at the time when anyone could get taken out for 2 weeks on some sort of quarantine or childcare loss or whatever. Like there's so many variables here that people managers are really getting hurt. And then the other thing that's so interesting that I'm seeing is that customers are changing so much. Their expectations, the values by which they spend money and procure goods is changing. And I'm seeing that businesses aren't necessarily set up with the right telemetry to be able to forecast those kinds of business needs and challenges. So the agility that businesses really need to possess now is being called to the table. So we're seeing this, like, not only do people have these like personal challenges that everyone's carrying, but it's showing up in the way that they work too.
Absolutely.